Hey, it's Akansh over here, and this video is pretty much kind of building in public from the ground up, why I'm starting a cold email agency, kind of my plan for it, my goals, a bit about my background as well, and really just going through where I am in the current moment. So, to begin with, I've been a full time sales rep for the past 2.5 years, mainly selling B2C, B2B, and a number of different roles from being an SDR rep to actually account executive or a closer. Most likely you would call it a closer. But even like closing inbound, outbound, full stack on the back end, like all different types of roles. And so over the past, I would say 2.5 years, I've probably collected or generated around 4.4 million in revenue. And the reason after, being selling for the past 2.5 years, why I've decided like I want to start this agency of mine comes down to a couple of different reasons. I think the first one is sales was always a stepping stone for me. It was a way of being able to learn business, being able to get in front and close to business owners, learn a very fundamental, if not probably one of the most important skill sets in business, which is the actual art of like transacting cash with a stranger. But it was always going to be limited and for a season. And so I felt like, or I feel, I've gotten to a point where I've learned quite a bit now. Obviously, there's always more you can learn. But I've learned enough to the point where I feel good enough, and I want to be able to now kind of really branch out, which was always my initial goal, and learn all the other pieces from the offer to marketing, and then actually on the fulfillment side, and then making sure that as we scale this, all this doesn't break through ops, IT, legal, tech, right? All that good stuff. And Hormozi talks about this, well, back when, I think in 2023, I remember one of his videos saying you can make a lot of money by kind of doing one or three things. You can either be a rainmaker, so you're really good at marketing or sales, or a combination. You can either be really good at the actual product or fulfillment side of things, or you can really be good at making sure that those two things don't break, which are operations. And so since I naturally start in sales, which is being a subset of a rainmaker, it's just about time going and kind of learning the adjacent skills to that, which is mainly marketing, a bit of messaging around the offer, and then focusing on delivery and etc. So that's kind of where I'm at. In terms of why I chose cold email, right? So if I want to start an agency, there are so many different things you can do. You can be an ads and funnel agency. You can be like an AI automation agency, email marketing agency. You're doing cold email. You can be like a LinkedIn outbound agency, UGC. There are so many out there. I think with especially the way I'm going to be doing cold email, which is performance-based marketing to begin with, it's going to be the lowest risk for prospects to move forward. So it's going to give me the quickest number of reps in terms of not only practicing marketing, messaging, sales, but also the fulfillment side of things, making sure that things don't break and scaling that in the shortest time frame. And so that's what I'm truly trying to optimize for, because once I kind of get those reps under my belt and once I start getting those case studies under my belt, I can actually change my model, right, my business model to more of a retainer, or adding on something like, hey, it's not just going to be outbound through cold email, but we make it a lot more complex by adding LinkedIn and cold calling, or a combination of things. And even for myself right now, the way I'm generating my leads, right, so my own kind of lead generation mechanism in this business is through cold email. So it's kind of like proof of concept. I'm going to fulfill what I actually did to get you on the phone. The way I'm going about is once I get like an interested reply, immediately just getting the email, tying that to a phone number, and then dialing them myself. And since over the past 2.5 years, I've become really good at getting a interested lead to actually build more interest, qualifying them, which is what an SDR does, and then actually getting them onto a closer call and closing them, which is what a closer does. I feel more than capable and confident in that kind of realm. So that's pretty much that. So that leads me to the present moment then, in terms of what I'm actually building. And that is, so I guess I've kind of already walked through this, right? So performance-based, B2B, cold email campaigns. I take care of everything. So another element is it's also done for you. So right from actually being able to find a lead list to then actually making sure that they're valid emails, we're targeting the right people, the emails are verified, and then once we take that, making sure that we have enough mailboxes to be sending the volume that we need. So let's say if we're sending 1,000 emails a day, we not only need to make sure that each mailbox is warmed up beforehand to maximize deliverability, but we have enough infrastructure to be able to prevent spam, bounce rate. So everything in terms of warming up emails, email inbox health, domain health, actually sending the emails from a software, managing replies, taking replies and then adding them to the CRM, taking them from an email to a call, right? Different channel. Then from that, calendar links, pre-call assets, contracts, everything pretty much. Really all a prospect needs to do is just kind of show up and close, right? Which is what they're probably good at in their own business. And so to begin with, I've selected two kind of niches. So the first niche I went with, I was trying to be very specific and trying to do something that's slightly different to kind of what everyone does, which is just usually like B2B SaaS or something. And that's commercial janitorial. The reason why I chose them, so usually B2B is going to be a better bet because LTVs are much higher. So from an ROI standpoint, in terms of your offering, it's a lot easier for someone to move forward with. Now, why specifically commercial janitorial? Nothing in particular. They just had a higher LTV. And according to Claude, when I was extended thinking, deep research mode, it came up with that. So that's the first vertical that I went into. And then I kind of went broad out for another niche over here. And now it's just overall very broad B2B. My entire idea is every single week, I should be launching a campaign and eventually getting that to a point where I'm doing a campaign every single day. Right now I'm sending around 1,000 emails a day and eventually, increasing that to maybe 5,000 a day over time. So that's going to be the real goal. It's going to be an element, and I guess what's kind of holding me back from doing that is just number one, with the current two campaigns that are running, they just started last week. And so once we give it enough time, and when I say enough time, probably by the end of this coming week, we'll have enough data to start being able to, number one, actually see positive replies come in and convert them into sales calls and clients. But number two, enough data to actually start making tweaks in either the lead list, the copy, or usually, if it's not the lead list, the copy, which are the issues. I forgot, there's a third one. Whatever the third one is, making the right tweaks so that way we're a lot more refined before actually increasing volume. And that leads me to, I guess, where I am right now. This is a bit outdated because I actually made this kind of PNG photo like 3 days ago. So I've got 3 campaigns live. That's right. I've got 1 LinkedIn campaign. This is all right. Email sent is a lot higher. I think on Smart Lead now I'm up to maybe like 300 emails. But clients and revenue is 0. In terms of positive replies, 0 so far. In terms of total responses, I've got around 10. A combination of and I'm excluding the out of office ones. Majority of them are like, hey, I'm not interested. But yeah, we are getting replies, so that's positive. But yeah, that just leads me to where I am right now, which is I've got like 40 more emails ready to add to my campaign, sending 1,000 every single day, adding a campaign a week, rinse and repeat, look at the data, make the tweaks, rinse and repeat. And yeah, I'll keep you updated, do another video like this next week in terms of going through what went well. I think in terms of if I was to forecast by the end of next week, obviously, I'm going to be sending 1,000 a day. I'm probably going to have another 1 to 2 campaigns actually live and running. And aside from that, I should probably have at least 1 positive reply by then, because even if we're looking at a 1% positive reply rate on 1,000 emails, that would be 10, 110. Yeah, that would be 10. So if I'm getting, I should at least get 1 positive reply. So should be actually honestly having a sales call by the end of next week, and I should be able to close that. So forecasting to have my first client by the end of next week, and we kind of move from there.